All right, welcome back to another After Dark, everyone. Hope you all having a good night so far. Hope you guys had a wonderful day. Hopefully you guys have seen the videos from earlier today, because I am in the process here. I'm in the final leg of The Truth About Michael Jordan's Career, Part 5 from Uncut. And this is a very long video, but very interesting video. And I split it into 3 parts. So if you haven't seen the first 2, please go watch Part 1, Part 2. Those of you who are caught up, welcome. Let's wrap this up, shall we? Quick shout out to channel members. Also, just to let you know, this video is linked down below in the description of my video, as always. So if you guys want to check out Uncut's channel, it's right there. Uncut, if you're watching, what's up, brother? Hope you're having a good day and wonderful work, man. Let's wrap it up, huh? Let's do this. Like the video, I'd appreciate it a lot. And let's keep going.
And like we see over and over again, this.
By the way, we're in the 89-90 season. But if you watched the previous ones, you'd know we're here. We're I think it's Game 6 against the Pistons right now in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Bulls team at home, a completely different team. As heading this Game 6, 7 straight wins at home in the postseason.
Oh, wow.
And 16 overall, dating back to the regular season. And for the first quarter of this game, Michael Jordan, not an ideal start, 9.35 shooting, but had 3 fouls, had to sit early in the second quarter. Now, the bench in place of Jordan for the first time in a long time actually held their own and extended the lead. So that right there was a big time moment in this game, the Bulls thriving without Jordan on the court. Now looking at the third quarter, MJ still with 3 fouls, but not in big time foul trouble. The guy in foul trouble this quarter was Scottie Pippen, who picked up his 4th.
Oh, wow.
So Jordan has seen that in the third quarter, turned it on pretty quickly, 18 points in the quarter, compared to Detroit, who only had 19 combined. So Chicago at this point, in firm control of the game, up by about 15 points. In the fourth quarter, the Pistons, being pretty desperate, sought to stop Jordan and Jordan only.
Yeah, they ran away with it in that third quarter.
So in the fourth quarter, someone like Craig Hodges got a ton of wide open looks. And to Craig's credit, hit on quite a few of them.
Nice.
I think everybody was inspired. We knew that our back was to the wall. The young guys came in and gave us a good job. Craig Hodges really came out of his slump, and his 3-pointers really helped us today. Both have to disguise the fact that
Once again, crediting the team.
there's a mismatch. Edwards on Grant.
Craig Hodges has not been a problem for us up until that game, and the primary reason for that, we went to a trapping defense where we really wanted to trap only Jordan and rotate and stay home on Hodges. We made some mistakes defensively, got wide open, and he's going to make that shot if you leave up. He's one of the great 3-point shooters ever.
Detroit in the fourth quarter, the closest they got with the Bulls was a 12-point margin. So for Chicago, a pretty comfortable win due to Jordan as well as Craig Hodges. And right here it sets up a Game 7 back in Detroit. So when looking at this Game 7 of the East Finals, the one big plus of the Pistons, they were on their home floor. As looking at Detroit in this year's playoff run, as was 89, it combined 16-1 on their home floor. They had one loss against Chicago in 1989.
Remember back in the day when home court meant something? Like, I don't know what's happened. I don't know if it was just like after the pandemic, but home court doesn't seem to have as much impact anymore.
And looking at the entire NBA, the past 10 Game 7s of the playoffs, the home teams were a perfect 10-0. At this point in the league's history, home court advantage was a monumental deal. And for the Bulls in this game, they were also short-handed, as John Paxson in Game 6 severely sprained his ankle and missed Game 7 completely.
Ouch.
A little known fact everyone seems to forget. Now, looking at the first 2 minutes of the first quarter, disaster struck pretty early, as Scottie Pippen 2 minutes into the game checked himself out of the ball game with quote-unquote migraines.
Yep, this is the game. This is the migraine game. And these are the stakes. These were very high stakes.
So right here in the first quarter, a pretty bleak start. And looking at the Bulls lineup, outside of Jordan, it's pretty much role players. Someone like Horace, not a natural scorer. Bill Cartwright, yes, he can make layups if he's spoon-fed. Besides that, not much offensively. Then someone like Ed Neely or Craig Hodges. I mean, decent role players, but not stars, let alone superstars. Now, with that context in place, look at the first quarter of the Bulls, actually up by 2 points, 19-17. That's a plus, but here's the downside. That score being 19-17 very much a Pistons-esque game, not a Chicago game.
Yeah, true.
And looking at the second quarter, this is where things really went off track. The Bulls at one point, up 28-27, they're hanging around. But Detroit from that point on, 11-0 run, up by 9 points, and by halftime, it was upwards of 15. And looking at the Bulls' first half, an abysmal 33 points.
That Michael Jordan is still utilizing his teammates very well. He's allowing the offensive diversity of the Bulls to make itself available for him. So when you get to the fourth quarter in a tight situation, he's going to be the focus of the Piston defense. He'll have confidence in dumping it off to his teammates who are now in the game offensively.
Coach, do you think Michael's going to try and take over in this one?
No, he'll play his game. He'll take the shot, or if we double him, triple him, he'll throw it off. He's a great basketball player, very intelligent. He'll do anything he has to do to win this game.
And looking at the third quarter, I mean, things wouldn't get that much better. At one point, the Bulls 41 points. Jordan had 18 of them. Scottie Pippen only had 2. So right here, Jordan, a one-man army, like 88, 87, 86, and 85.
Ooh.
And speaking of those old Bulls teams that kind of watched Jordan do everything, this Game 7 right here was a flashback to those games and those piss-poor rosters. The entire Bulls roster in this Game 7, outside of Jordan, could not make a shot. And still in the fourth quarter,
You can see the hesitation here. Hold
a
on.
flashback to those games and those piss-poor.
Great look. Go straight up. Right? No, he hesitates.
Rosters. The entire Bulls roster.
Why'd he go to the opposite end there? Why'd he go into the traffic? Yeah. Grant Hill was still young at this point.
This Game 7, outside of Jordan.
I mean, Grant Hill. Horace Grant. Grant Hill drinks Sprite. Maybe Horace Grant needed some Sprite.
Could not make a shot. And still in the fourth quarter, it was a 10-point ball game. And looking at the fourth quarter, MJ showed up for the first time in Detroit in a fourth quarter. This quarter, 9 points, 4-9 shooting. The other Bulls, 6 points, 2 of 13 shooting. They did absolutely
0 for 3, BJ. Damn.
nothing.
Sally, Aguirre, Rodman, Thomas, Jordan. Now has Vinnie Johnson guarding him. B.J. Armstrong, nope.
No one getting on the floor for the loose ball. Detroit wants it more at this point.
Neely.
Oh, man. Great defense.
Right into the Pistons' hands.
Ball was tipped out of bounds after the jump ball. Back to Hodges. Spots up for the 3 and it rims out. This stifling Detroit Piston defense holds the Chicago
Look at MJ
Bulls
shaking hands, congratulating everybody, wishing them luck in the finals.
to 28 of 90.
Yep. And remember what Isaiah did the next year? Didn't even shake his hand. Jordan's hugging him, wishing him well. All this stuff.
31%, but Michael Jordan had 31 and he's with Pat O'Brien.
In the midst of the celebration, what are you saying to the other players, Mike?
All you can do is wish them good luck. I mean, we fought hard. They were the better team. We went to a 7-game series. What more can we...
And Jordan put up 31, 8, and 8. He almost had a 30-point triple-double. I mean, it's not like he went out like a scrub. He did everything he could do.
They were the better team. We went to a 7-game series. What more can we ask for? We want to be where they are, but we still got to win our turn. We're still trying to improve our team. They were the better team, and they played better today.
What's your emotion now, Michael? Sadness, frustration?
Sadly, I'm disappointed, because I wanted to go further. But I got to accept the season that we played. We had a good season. We got this far. We got to look forward to next season. That's the only thing we can do.
Gave it a hell of a run.
Thank you.
What proved the difference in your
I
life?
mean, what an honorable way to go out. Literally, no excuses, nothing, no negativity, all positivity. This is what it used to look like, guys. This is what greatness used to sound like.
Well, certainly the inability of the Bulls to hit the perimeter shots. And what the Detroit Pistons did is they found an alternative. They weren't able to hit the shots that were given them, but they intensified their defense activity. And what they did was double, triple Michael Jordan.
For a Bulls team that just 40 hours earlier looked invigorated, had bravado and swagger, they're passing the ball, making their shots, to look like this in a Game 7 was downright shocking. And whether you want to call it nerves, stage fright, the team choking, I don't know what you call it, but the Bulls outside of MJ just crapped the bed in this Game 7.
3 for 17? Horace Grant, 3 for 17. That's only the first one. 1 for 10. Pippen. Bill Cartwright, whatever, 33%. BJ Armstrong, 1 for 8. They totally crapped the bed. Wow. Jordan was the only one producing. You're right.
Horace Grant, 3 of 17
Wow.
shooting. Scotty, 1 for 10. Hodges, 3 for 13. Cartwright, 3 for 9. And BJ off the bench, 1 for 8. The Bulls' top 6 players outside of Jordan combined shot 19.2%. I don't think there's any player in league history whose teammates can play that bad offensively and still win a game. Now, when it comes to MJ this series, look at his stats and numbers, you're kind of blown away. They're really great stats. 32 points, 47% shooting, 7 boards, and 6 dimes. Those for Jordan are pretty decent stats. And for a lot of superstars, it's a phenomenal series.
Yeah.
But looking more in depth at Michael Jordan, his home-away splits are pretty telling. Michael Jordan home in Chicago was a bona fide superstar.
Look at the shooting percentage when he's at the Palace.
The greatest player who ever lived. Michael Jordan in Detroit, while he still was pretty good, he wasn't typical MJ. And here's the one thing you can't overlook. Michael Jordan's fourth quarter splits, home versus away. Again, Jordan...
It makes you wonder if they would have had the better record and had home court advantage. They might have still been able to pull this off, even with the migraine.
Home in Chicago, an absolute beast. In Detroit, 3 of the 4 worst fourth quarters of Jordan's career up to this point. So my point right here is pretty simple. Yes, Pippen, Grant, Jordan supporting cast in Game 7, they didn't show up. But at the same time, Jordan previously in the series had games in fourth quarters where he also didn't show up, didn't perform up to standard.
When you lost that game, what was your thought process? What were you thinking?
We just weren't grown up enough to go through that series against a team that'd been through, an Eastern Finals, 2 championships, World Championships, and they were still a little bit better than us in the subtleties and the intensity of the game. We weren't quite mature enough.
You like that? I mean, you like that. I like that. Not blaming the refs, not blaming anybody. Just saying, yeah, they were more mature. Actually, that whole reasoning is why when they did break through and get to the finals against the Lakers in '91, I thought they were going to lose because it's like, no, man, the Lakers are seasoned champions at this point. They're not feeling any pressure whatsoever, and I'm still kind of shocked to this day how that series played out.
Scottie Pippen's headache and all that, it was unfair treatment to him. And as you know, a lot of times when the expectations are so high and you don't live up to it, they look for reasons why you never achieved that. And he was the target at the time. And we, as Phil said, surrounded and supported Scottie because he helped us get to that point.
And one last thing
there you go. He had a clear opportunity to throw his teammate under the bus, and instead he defends his teammate. Now think about like LeBron and J.R. Smith and how that went down. Very, very stark contrast.
We'll mention when it comes to the Bulls-Pistons rivalry,
just hit my microphone.
89 and 90. The Bulls and Jordan, the only team in the NBA who gave Detroit a run for their money. Chicago's record those 2 years, 5 and 8. The rest of the NBA, 2 and 22.
Jeez.
Think about that. Yes, the Bulls did lose, but who they lost to was the best team in the NBA.
The champs.
And looking at both those final series versus LA and Portland, the West versus the Pistons was an abysmal 1 and 8.
Yeah, I mean, they took the back-to-back champions to 7 games. They gave them a run for their money.
So these 2 years Chicago losing the Pistons, essentially, that was the championship series, not the NBA Finals. Now, despite Jordan falling short in Game 7, this entire playoff run, a thing of beauty. And for non-championship Jordan seasons, it's honestly probably my favorite. As looking at Jordan's overall numbers, nearly 37 points per game, 7 dimes, 7 boards, a great all-around player who also led the NBA in steals. And looking through playoff history, that 36.7 average, the 4th highest mark ever in league history. The only guys ahead of him, Jerry West and Elgin, who were on the exact same team. And look at both those guys, unlike Jordan, weren't at 50% shooting. So if you want to talk high volume scoring playoff runs that were efficient, Michael Jordan 1990 is the best of all time. That's one thing I do want to harp on, Jordan being efficient. And I'm not talking throw percentage or shooting percentage, I'm talking in-depth niche stats that have never been tracked. As looking at Michael Jordan's mid-range, absolutely phenomenal. This playoff run, 134 makes on 51.3% shooting. That overall percentage is in the top 10 runs of all time from the mid-range.
Look at my boy Nash. Well, who used to be my boy. I don't like what you're doing these days. Anyways, Bird in 86, no surprise. KD, yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. That's KD as a, that's him in Brooklyn. And then right behind it, yeah, KD. Wow. Look at that stretch. I've got my gripes with KD, personality-wise and mentality-wise, but dude, is he one of the most efficient scorers we've ever seen, or what?
Only guys ahead of him, Steve Nash, Larry Bird, KD 3 times, and Chris Paul. And here's the big catch. Those guys' percentages, yes, are higher than Jordan. But looking at their attempts,
yeah,
they're all in the hundreds. Michael Jordan was above 250, nearly double some of these runs. And look at total makes, 134. Since tracking began for mid-range shooting, that is the most ever in a single playoff run all time. And looking at the top 6 marks in league history...
Does that include ones that went all the way to the finals? Like 97 and 98? Like, are the NBA finals included in that? Because this is 6 less games, and he had 134 versus 124.
It's as follows. Michael Jordan, 1990. Michael Jordan, 1997. Jordan, 98. Iverson, 01. Kobe, 09. And Garnett, 08. And what's the big-time separator from 1990 Jordan, even versus those guys? His overall percentage is 51% with the most makes in league history.
There it is, Jordan.
Down low it comes to Michael. His turnaround jump.
Posting up against Dumars.
Look at the defense. They've got Jordan posted over Robertson. 75-57.
Has really come on in the third. To Jordan. Here's the baseline turn and gun.
Themselves back together defensively. Now Hawkins pounding on Jordan, but Jordan.
3 seconds. Fake on Dumars.
Now, getting even more specific, we have Michael Jordan, his catch and shoot numbers. This playoff run, 50 out of 105, just under 48%. If you look through league history at qualifiers for catch and shoot jump shots, that ranks 6th all time in percentage. And the guys ahead of him,
close.
Some of the best snipers to ever lace them up.
Horford?
Guys like Klay Thompson, as was Larry Bird. Now look at pull-up jump shots. Michael Jordan this run, an extremely high volume and percentage. Field goals made, 60. Attempts, 106. The percentage, above 55%. That in the entirety of league history is by far the highest percentage and most makes in a single playoff run. The only guy even close is Chris Paul back in 2021.
Jordan up top.
For Jordan, who is 1-on-3 and puts it up.
Has 10. That equals his playoff average. Here's Jordan at the other end.
Move by Dawkins on the swing.
Hawkins tried to slow Jordan, and it would have been the case for a mere mortal, but not for the man they call E.T.
And looking at the last part of Jordan's arsenal, when it comes to post-up scoring...
Wait a second. When did anyone call Michael Jordan E.T.? I heard that.
Run MJ's percentage was above 60%. That all-time ranked 7th in league history. And look at the guys
Duncan, man.
ahead of him. They're all big men power forwards, not guards. Michael Jordan's arsenal for scoring the basketball, it's unlike any player in league history. And for players like a Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, he has great offensive bags, very versatile, but for someone like Jordan, the absurd volume efficiency has never been seen in league history before or since. And here's the added detail. When it comes to every team's defense, who are they focusing on every single night?
Let's hope that this trip to the Windy City is much better than the last time we were here.
Well, the answer to that is to get Jordan slowed down a little bit. If we give him 45, 47, 42, those numbers, then we've got a major problem in this building. It's not only the crowd, it's Michael Jordan.
You know, he's the leading
I
scorer.
love the amount of respect that comes out of an adversary like that.
In this league, I think you try to contain him as best you can. You pick your spots to double team him, try to take it out of his hands. But I think we can survive and win the game if we can. More important, I think, than maybe how many points he gets is what kind of a percentage he shoots.
Yep, for sure.
When you add the context that all these defenses, their sole focus is stopping Michael Jordan, and he still averaged 37 points per game, that makes this playoff run even more impressive. And for guys like Jim Lynam and Chuck Daly, they already conceded Jordan he was going to get his 30. But the question was it a tough 30 or an easy 30? That's how good Jordan was in this year's postseason run. Now, one thing I do want to highlight is Jordan kind of picking his spots here and there, specifically in the second half. As looking at Jordan's second half scoring by series, it's pretty phenomenal. First round versus Milwaukee, 17.8 points per game. Second round versus Philly, 24.4, and the East Finals, 18.9. So MJ right there in 3 straight series, 17 points per game or higher in the second half. In all of NBA history, the only player ever to accomplish that feat. And like we saw earlier, that 24.4 average versus Philly is the highest ever in the second half for a single playoff series. And adding some more context to Jordan's second half scoring, his total average for the entire playoffs was 20.3. In all of NBA history for second half scoring, that is the highest ever. And Jordan's the only player ever to average 20 points per game in the second half of the playoffs.
Shout out to Brunson.
The guy who was the closest was Kevin Durant, and then Michael Jordan in 1989. And one more thing I do want to highlight with second half scoring, Michael Jordan this run in total had 9 such games, cracking 20 points in the second half. In league history, that ranks first all time. Second place, Kobe. Third place, Kawhi. And fourth and fifth place, also Kobe. Now, one thing Kawhi and Kobe are also known for is great fourth quarter play and delivering in the biggest quarter. And looking at 1990 MJ, the exact same deal.
52%.
His fourth quarter scoring, 10.7 points per game. Assist, 1.3. Field goal percentage, 51.8. And from the line, above 85%. In all of NBA history, only 6 times ever as a player averaged 10 points or more in the fourth quarter in a playoff run of at least 10 games.
Dude, once again, shout out to Brunson. Look at you.
And looking at that list, half of them belong to Michael Jordan in 3 consecutive seasons. Now, the final Jordan fourth quarter stat that blew me away is that Michael Jordan this run had 5 separate games of scoring 15 points or more in a single fourth quarter. In all league history,
look at Amari Stoudemire in there.
That ranks first all time. Second place, also Jordan. Third place, Kobe. Fourth place, AI. And fifth place, somehow Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah, 05, dude. 05. The Suns were averaging 30 points per quarter, pretty much, for a run there. So I could totally see it. Pick and roll, alley-oops, easy buckets for Stad.
These stats right here, yes, are pretty unique, pretty niche, but looking at the best fourth quarter players of all time, however you break it down, Jordan this year is one of the best, if not the best. And building off Jordan's scoring, like we saw earlier this run, he wasn't just a scorer, a high volume, efficient scorer. What he also did was pass the rock, rebound, and play defense. When some fans discuss Michael Jordan, his stats, production, what they pay him as the guy who averaged 30 points per game, 2 boards, 2 assists, all he did was score. Michael Jordan, his entire career, much more than a scorer. When fans say someone like Scottie Pippen was the better all-around player, I simply don't buy it. Yes, Michael Jordan was a score-first player, but looking at rebounds, assists, steals, the entire body of work, MJ every single year was right there with Pippen. The only difference is Jordan scored twice as many points on better efficiency.
I know.
And when
it's such a silly argument. I don't understand. I don't get it. It's people like Isaiah Thomas and people with agendas that are spouting this nonsense because it makes no logical sense.
Michael Jordan's all-around game is passing. It is severely underrated. As looking at Jordan 89, but especially 1990, his passes were precise, crisp, made some all-time great dimes that for a score-first player, you wouldn't see.
And once again, I feel like I always have to bring this up because it's one of those things that, like, it's the stuff right in front of your face that we don't see. Jordan's job, shooting guard. Shooting guard. What's his job? Shoot first, pass second. He's very good at doing his job. When he played point guard, he wasn't doing that. You know, he was a pass first guy at that point.
Finds Neely all alone down.
The point is, Jordan's just doing his job. And he's doing his job better than any shooting guard ever has in NBA history.
Jordan out the front right. 'Right. 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 ' Jordan working inside, tries to get it into.
And just think, if he didn't follow the rules of shoot first, pass second for a shooting guard, then he would never get the double teams because he wouldn't be taking advantage of the one-on-ones. And then if that happened, then he wouldn't be able to find open shooters. Nobody would be open ever in the game. He has to do his job, and he had to do it well, and he did.
All day. 1 minute remaining in the first half. Jordan gets by the double.
Nice.
Hard right.
462. Michael Jordan feeling it, penetrates, gives to Grant. Grant with a short.
In a lot of ways, Michael Jordan was the perfect NBA superstar, as depending on the roster or the team needed him to do, he would do it at an all-time great level. Look at Game 4 versus Philly. Pippen's out, what does Jordan do? 11 dimes, also 45 points. Versus the Pistons, you need 47, 18 in the fourth quarter. I can also do that. Michael Jordan's role for the Bulls, depending on what they needed, changed night to night, even quarter to quarter. As like we saw numerous times, for some quarters, a facilitator or passer getting guys involved. Then the very next quarter, boom, 15 points, just like that. Now that right there for Michael Jordan is the entire offensive package we've really covered in depth. One thing we haven't covered is Michael's defense.
Ed Neely into the lineup now for the Chicago Bulls, replacing State off the leg.
It still blows my mind to this day how much energy he's using on defense, yet still has the energy on offense to lead the league in scoring.
Apparently tonight.
Like, this is a lot of energy.
Rodman. Armstrong cuts him off. Blocked by Jordan.
Jordan with a steal.
Far side, Jordan.
Knock away. Isaiah's got it. Driving on Jordan. Michael Jordan. Lob inside to Jimmy Edwards. Blindside swipe.
King defending against Edwards.
Certainly when he gets his hands on the ball. There's the answer. And we'll see here. Thank you.
If you think prime MJ's defense is overrated, I'm sorry, but you're smoking crack.
No kidding.
Looking at Jordan this run, played the passing lane tremendously well, his help defense is on point, and here's the big time separator. Jordan's on-ball defense was as good as his off-ball defense.
I don't know one person who was alive back then who would actually say Jordan's defense is overrated. We never said it back then because it was not the truth. If anything, the amount of flash and like just crazy spectacle that he had on the offensive end, it took away the attention from the defensive end. He was always doing this on defense. He just didn't get credit for it. And now he gets credit for it and people want to take it away. It makes no sense.
Players, you get one or the other, but not both. For Michael Jordan, he was the total package for a lockdown 2 guard.
He's the ultimate basketball
player. And looking
player.
at the Jordan defensive stats I tracked, his defensive field percentage was 36.7%. That in recorded NBA history for guards is the 4th best mark all time, only behind Klay Thompson, Jimmy Butler, and weirdly enough, Dion Waiters. And here's some more context. The guys Jordan was guarding, they weren't bums, guys standing in the corner doing nothing. Into this playoff run, the main guys he guarded, first off, Ricky Pierce, who versus Jordan, shot 7-20.
Finals MVP, Joe Dumars, man. You know, that's
one.
And I'm pretty sure it was this one, because this is the second Detroit championship in their back-to-back. This is the year Joe Dumars won NBA Finals MVP.
Second round, Hershey Hawkins, 10 for 38, even worse. And the East Finals, Joe Dumars, who was better than the other guys at 39%. All those guys from Ricky Pierce to Joe Dumars kind of played the exact same way. Tons of off-ball movement going through screens and picks, trying to wear Jordan down. And in this run, Jordan held up extremely well.
Ankle, injured in game 4. Dumars and Jordan.
He's like a cat.
Lambeer.
Or a snake.
In the first half. Good defensive job by Michael. The glamour matchup of the game, Jordan and Dumars. They will go at each other for the full 48 or as long as both are in there. Here's Jordan with the steal.
By Michael Jordan. Bulls by 6. And Jordan's also defensing Pierce. taken Detroit out of their sink.
Double team on Dumars. 7 on the shot clock. Trap.
For Detroit and Michael Jordan for Chicago. There's Dumars in the corner, short.
Here's your pick and roll.
So watching plays like that from Michael Jordan, there's no real stats and numbers that can gauge that.
Oh my God.
His effort
This is the most disrespectful crap ever. Look at
plays
this.
like that from Michael Jordan.
Look at this.
There's no real stats and numbers that can gauge that. His effort intensity of getting through screens and just being alert on defense. The stats don't really show that. Now, one thing the stats do show is Michael Jordan in the passing lanes being an absolute pest. MJ this run deflections a total of 91.
Crazy.
This stat in NBA history is fairly new, been recorded since 2017. And MJ compared to those guys in 2017, guess where he ranks overall? Of course, first, ahead of Draymond, SGA, Drew Holiday, and Jimmy Butler. And if you want to look past the total number, the average, Jordan this run, 5.7 deflections per game. That in league history also is the highest mark all time. The only guy even close to Kawhi Leonard at 5.0 back in 2023. So look, when it comes to defensive stats sometimes, they can be wonky and whack, as defense can't really be measured by stats and numbers. But here's my point. When you look at Jordan's defensive stats and numbers, the advanced metrics, combined with the eye test, it makes this version of Jordan one of the best defenders in league history. Look, when it comes to a great defensive player, being versatile 100% matters. But ask yourself this, would you rather have a guy guards 1 through 5 pretty well, or a guy guards 1 through 3 extremely well? For Michael Jordan, could lock down 1s, 2s, and 3s. If he had to guard 4s, it was tough, but could do it on some nights. Jordan's overall defensive ability is actually somehow underrated. And looking at his entire game, yes, prime MJ was an athletic freak, could dunk on anyone. What made this guy special, not only his mentality, but his skill base, his fundamentals. A lot of guys can jump, run, have highlight plays, but there's very few players ever who are as skilled as Michael Jordan in 1990. So that right there is the end of the video. For 1990 Jordan, he had everything but the chip.
Yep. Oh, and it's over. Wow. Dang, man, I was caught up in this one. I've been very, very invested in this one. So much I don't even know what to say on the outro here. Like, dang, man, that was a great video. I can't wait for the next one. The next one is all 5 of these parts up until this point is like the climbing of the mountain, and that's why I love this stuff, because I'd love for like future generations of athletes in general to see stuff like this. That way maybe you'll think twice before you just go out and chase the team that's already established and you join that team. If you take your time, you're willing to lose in the beginning, and you slowly but surely work on your weaknesses, improve the roster, improve your teamwork together, all that stuff, what can be accomplished. And that's what we're going to start seeing in the next video, which is them finally getting to the top of the mountain. After all of this, 5 videos worth of seeing the Bulls try and fail, and then once they succeeded, they were too tough to be broken at that point. And if it wasn't for that failure, that toughness wouldn't have been there. And that knowing how important it is to stay on top of the mountain, it wouldn't be appreciated if they just built a super team, and they went to the finals the first year. I mean, you're already thinking, yeah, I got the cheat code. We got this. It's not the same. It doesn't hold the same value that way. Not only to us fans, but also, it's not holding the same value to the players, because they're like, yeah, I can't do it on my own. Let me just go join these guys, and that's it. We'll be instant champion or title contenders. It's not the same. Anyways, great video by Uncut. Even if I gotta wait another 6 months for the next part, I'll wait. I'll be here, hopefully. And I can't wait to see it, man. Great job, Uncut. If you're hearing this, fantastic work, man. Fantastic work. Everybody, go over, check out the original video from Uncut. The link is down below. Go get some extra views over there. Do the thing that we do. All right, guys. I am. My voice is running out for the day, so I'm gonna head out. Everybody, I appreciate. Let me know in the comments who made it to the end. Who's still here with me and watched all 3 parts. Like, y'all are awesome for doing that if you did it. Guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Shout out to members. Shout out to Uncut for a great video here. And most importantly, it's the Be Water, my friends.